The OPT is about to end. Is that true or not? Because a lot of you guys sent me the same message along with this news post or a news post from another agency that okay, this is going on in the US and the OPT is about to end because they are planning on terminating the OPT so that international students should not get to work in the US just because they have studied in the US. First off, let me tell you what all of this is about. If you can see on the screen, this is Paul Gosar, and what he's really trying to do is that he is trying to introduce a bill on the OPT program. Basically, he wants the OPT to go away, or he wants to modify the OPT such that the STEM people should not get 3 years. So basically what he wants is to eliminate the OPT per se. And in general, what he said, in his words, this is it. What country creates a program but not a law that rewards its businesses to fire citizen workers and replace them with foreign labor to pay the foreign labor less? The United States. The program is called OPT and it reflects a complete abandonment of our own workers. Okay, so this is his words. He also has a couple of other people besides him, but in general, this is what he wants. He tells the government that OPT should be scraped off. It should not be required. And let me give you some of his arguments and let me tell you how it's going to impact you as a student as well, or even if as a prospect student if you're looking to study in the USA. Okay, so in general, number one, he says that OPT circumvents the H1B cap. Every year there's an H1B cap. There's a limited number of H1Bs. If you've seen my other videos, you know exactly how much this cap is. And you also know that there's a special cap just for the master's students or PhD students as well. Okay, and again, that cap, that limit, right? That limit is going to be, he's basically saying that if you get an OPT, you don't basically need an H1B to work in the US. So this is another way to work. So you're basically surpassing the H1B. You're giving them one more way to work in the US. So that's what he really means when he says that the OPT circumvents the H1B cap. Next thing he says is that the OPT allows over 100,000 students to work for up to 3 years in the USA. Okay. Another claim that he's making is that the foreign workers, these students, right, they are basically exempt from payroll tax. And what that means is that these employees are 10 to 15% cheaper for the US employers, and that's why they prefer these OPT students over any other kind of US citizen employees, right? And that's his argument in general. And the result that he's asking for over here is basically to remove the OPT. Now, let me tell you what I think, and let me tell you whether you should be worried or not. Okay, now there's a lot of people like Paul Gosar that come up almost every 2 or 3 years, and this happens every now and then. So how does this impact you? Does this always result in some sort of restrictions, some sort of bans of the visa types, or some sort of changes in the OPT program? No, in general, no. Especially if we don't have a president like Donald Trump. It does not result in that. Okay, next, let me put a number on your screen. This number right over here, it's not in millions, it's actually 45 billions. You know what this signifies? This is the amount of money you guys spent, you international students, yes. This is the money you guys spent in the US. You basically gave the US this money to study in the US in 2018. The entire year of 2018, this was calculated, and based on a survey, we got to know $45 billion. Do you know how much that is? That's crazy big amount of money that international students are paying to the US, and that's money that's being spent in their economy to better the nation, to make sure that it's at the forefront of research, and it's the best place to work basically for entrepreneurs as well. That's how US is becoming number one, because you guys are spending your valuable money. And when it is time for you to gain that return on investment, because most of you are taking up very heavy loans just to be in the US, taking up money from the bank, promising the bank that you'll pay more money than you took from the bank, and then when it's time for you to study and you finish off your studies, when it's time for you to earn that money back, Paul Gosar thinks over here that you shouldn't have to earn that money back, even though you're paying almost double the tuition as the domestic students. And even the domestic students sometimes don't like to go to college because it's so costly. So my question to Paul Gosar is, how do these international students sustain if they are paying the US so much money and you're not giving them any way back to earn that money? How the hell do you think these students will be able to make that money back? or even, forget return on investment, even to get that money back and give it to the banks, because that's huge money. That's money that their families have probably not earned most of the times. That's what I've witnessed, right? The next thing over here, and this is very important factor now, Canada and UK are in the race to attract as many international students as possible. And guess what? They're succeeding at it. You can see Canada, international students are rising every single year. UK, they discontinued their 2-year post-study work permit in 2012. The numbers started going down. International students were not preferring the UK most of the times. Now they have reintroduced that. Yes, after Brexit. Now you can still work in the UK for 2 full years after your graduation. Isn't that great? So the UK is getting it. They want more international students. The countries like Canada are getting it. They want more international students. Forget about Germany, Ireland, Australia. All of these are also in the competition, right? New Zealand. So there's a lot of other countries that are in the competition to get as many international students as possible. And doing something like this, stopping the OPT or putting a hold on it or even reducing the duration of it, do you think that US would sustain as the #1 destination for international students? I don't think so. No, right? So that's something that is crazy huge over here. This is a huge point, and this is exactly why you don't need to be worried when it comes to the OPT or being able to study in the US, right? So that's again an important point. And the final point I have for you over here is that this is just a bill right now. They have proposed it. To get it to the president, it must be passed in the Senate. The Senate still has a majority of Democrats, which means that the chances of something like this passing, they're next to none. And in general, you are worried about nothing at all. So focus on your studies, focus on making it big, no matter which country you're going to. My support will be with you, and in case something happens and US is the place that you should not step into for your education overseas, I guarantee you 100%, at least 12 months before, I will be telling you about it. So you won't need to change your plans in a hurry. Okay, for now, the US is one of the best destinations, especially for graduate level programs, master's, PhD programs. Don't even think about worrying about news like this. I assure you. So many of you guys messaged me. That's why this video, I know it's a bit day late basically after the news, because first off, I thought that maybe you guys wouldn't worry about it. But since I saw a lot of you guys were worried about it, that's why the video came out. And hopefully I will continue to see your support. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of good content coming on, and in the upcoming weeks you'll see a lot of new kind of content as well. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and we'll get talking over there. We're a very interactive group of people. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and take care.